Hello, fellow Wolverines, and welcome to another episode of our Mastering Maize in Blue podcast series. This one is going to be about Greek life, and we have a few people on with us. So to begin, I'm Alexis. I am a human resource management and political science major. This is my senior year at UM-Dearborn coming up. I'm in Phi Mu sorority, and I am also a supplemental instructor. And my favorite superhero is Captain America, and we also have Kelly with us as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly. I'm a political science and environmental studies double major. On campus, I'm involved in Student Government Political Science Association and Phi Mu sorority. And my favorite movie is Alice in Wonderland. And this is our guest for today.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin Parker. I'm the coordinator of Fraternity and Sorority Life, and I work within the Office of Student Life, overseeing most of the fraternity and sorority programs, student activities board, and leadership programs.
So, Caitlin, what is your favorite part about U of M-Dearborn?
Really tough question because there's a lot. I definitely think it's the community aspect of it, whether that's with the faculty, the staff, especially the students. I'd be, wrong if I didn't say the students were my favorite part. The students are great. They're really supportive of one another. You can tell they really care about their education and their experience. And it's just a really great place to be. I'm missing it so much since we're not actually on campus right now. It's great being able to see people via video chat and everything and still stay connected, but definitely just like the connections and the community aspect of it.
I couldn't agree anymore because I love how we have the big campus name of U of M, but we're such a small campus and it's like so close and you always see like familiar faces. I swear, like everybody on campus, and it just feels like so cozy and home-like. So I do appreciate that as well.
So, Caitlin, your favorite part of campus obviously being the community and the students. How would you describe it from your position?
I would definitely say supportive, and excited and energized, and involved. Like I've worked on another campus before and for a sorority headquarters, and the level of involvement of our students is like through the roof. I think a lot of our students really care about, like I said, they really care about their experience and they're passionate about it. And so we have a lot of students that, really kind of live through their passion on campus, which is, a lot of times tied to academics or social life or community involvement. And so it's definitely an involved campus. There's always something going on. And even though, it's a commuter campus, people are really connected to campus. And there's a lot of opportunities for people to get connected. And I think that's what helps create kind of this supportive community environment, but definitely the involvement.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think our campus makes it really easy for students to get involved. We have a lot going on all the time, even virtually now. So I think we're a really good campus to be at.
I definitely love that too because the whole commuter campus thing, I was one of those people that would first just go to class and then go home. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get involved in some way that'll make me want to stay on campus. And I found that in my sorority. So that was really nice.
That's one thing that I think was so surprising for me because the previous institution I worked at was a larger residential institution that had like residence halls and all that kind of stuff. And so I think I had in my head like, oh, it's a commuter campus. 5 o'clock's going to hit and students are going to go home. But, oftentimes, and you two know this because you've been in meetings with me, we have meetings at 9 o'clock at night because we know that's when students are done with class and they're still wanting to be there. And so I actually sometimes think campus, when we're on campus, like pre-COVID, was almost more lively between like 5 and 10 p.m. because, students didn't want to go home or they were still connected and wanted to fit stuff in, between or after their night classes. So it's definitely a lively campus.
For sure. There's a lot of student organization meetings at like 5 p.m. or we all know that Greek life meetings are Mondays at 9 p.m. So yes, there's always so many people on campus, which is an awesome thing. So with your title on campus, what are some of your main responsibilities and how does that work?
Yeah, so a lot. I like to tell people I'm an advisor, not a supervisor. So I'm really there as a pillar of support for students, like first and foremost, whether it's students that are involved with fraternity and sorority life or students that I interact with outside of that. you two know this, you've seen, often have people in my office just hanging out, telling me about their day. So I'm definitely more of a pillar of support and kind of a listening ear. It's really interesting. So like I said, I work within the Office of Student Life. And so we have a lot of different programmatic areas. So with Fraternity and Sorority Life, I also oversee the Student Activities Board, which does a lot of really great events for campus, and student leadership programs, which a lot of our fraternity and sorority members participate in. And so definitely being an advisor to all of our 15 chapters and our different councils, and really just being kind of there as someone to help guide people, and really just be there as a support person. You know, I'm everyone's biggest cheerleader, even, you know, when they're having a bad day or they just need to talk about something or to bounce ideas off of someone. I'm really there to support and kind of let people know that the one thing I tell people all the time is our students are so much more capable than a lot of people give themselves credit for, and sometimes they just need someone to really motivate them and let them know that they can do it. And so definitely, you know, attending student meetings. Most of my day ends up being with students coming in my office and kind of that one-on-one kind of counseling aspect of it, and kind of pushing people to you know, be a better version of themselves and get involved, and continue to kind of keep that involvement throughout campus.
So, what is your favorite part about your job? Obviously, you work with a lot of different people day in, day out. So, there's a lot to choose from for you.
That's such a hard question. I think it's one of my favorite parts, and a lot of people that work in education or work with students get this, is, you know, having a new student come in, whether they're a transfer student or you know, a first-year student, and then seeing them really grow over the next couple years. I've been on campus for a few years, and you know, meeting a student at orientation and then seeing them get involved, and then, you know, they're on campus a year and now they're a president of an organization, or they're starting, you know, a new like advocacy project or something really cool, and knowing that you get to be a part of that journey is probably my favorite part, because it's super rewarding. And even students after they graduate, I have a student that's a teacher in Detroit now, and him and I were talking earlier today because he's like, do you remember this? I used it in my class the other day. And so that's all part of that creating community aspect, which I think is really cool, but definitely seeing students grow, and kind of become, like I said, better versions of themselves, and really dive deep into all of their experiences, probably my favorite part. It's really fun too. A lot of people are like, that's your job, like you get to do that, and I was like, yeah, it's really fun. It's something different every day, which I think, you know, a lot of people are like, what's a typical day like? And I'm like, I can't explain it. It's literally different every day, but that's what makes it exciting.
So, what are some unique facts or information like regarding your office that like you feel incoming students would need to know or would be beneficial for them to know?
So a lot of people, you know, given that, you know, we're under the University of Michigan umbrella, and a lot of people come in and are like, oh, it's a, you know, a commuter campus, there might not be many opportunities for me to get involved. I think a lot of people don't realize that we have a thriving, growing fraternity and sorority community on campus that has a variety of different opportunities for people to get involved depending on, you know, what their interest area is. And so a lot of people, when they walk down the hall and they see the office and they see that we have 15 different chapters and so many different councils and opportunities, I think they're a little surprised, because they don't necessarily think that that's something, you know, without houses and kind of like the traditional landscape of it could exist on our campus, but it does. We have a lot of opportunities. The community's growing, which is really great. It's a really great way to get involved and get connected. You know, we have the opportunity soon to bring on some new organizations, which we're really excited about. And so it's kind of one of those, I think it's a hard area for people to know what questions to ask or how to get involved, and just that first step into getting involved in any organization can be really overwhelming. And so I think, you know, important facts is know that like there's any question is a good question. Happy to answer questions. I love talking to people. Most of our students, you know, that like you all like are orientation leaders or are, you know, involved on campus, are happy to answer questions. And I think other important information and unique facts is I talk to parents all the time. A lot of my communication is with parents or with, you know, outside external resources. And so, you know, and I've been a fraternity and sorority advisor for 7 years. And so I have a wealth of information, and I'm happy to answer anyone's questions. And so I also think it's, you know, a lot of our fraternity and sorority members are really actively involved in other organizations on campus. So it's just a good resource in general to get people connected.
Yeah, I think that's something that students should realize. Like, our Greek life isn't super intimidating, which I love because your typical like stereotype, you see these chapters that are humongous and have like 150 people, and it's like, well, no, like we have sororities and fraternities still, but they're like maybe 40 people, which is like kind of, I guess, calming and nice to like realize that it's not as scary as others would make it out to be, which is kind of inviting. So it'd be nice for them to know that as well.
Well, and our community is so right. We have some chapters that are 3 people and some chapters that are 42 people. So there's really a wide range of what that experience looks like on our campus, which is really unique in comparison.
Yeah, that's something that I really enjoyed about our Greek life too. Is I know Alexis and I were talking about this actually this weekend. Um, is that like on much larger campuses, like if you look at the big schools, you can go all 4 years in a fraternity or sorority and not know everyone in your chapter. Which is kind of a crazy thought, especially for us. It's like, everyone, everyone's personality and like what their day looks like. And like, you get to spend time one-on-one with them. And that's something that I've really loved about Greek life on our campus.
One thing too, I'll add that a lot of people, that's super unique, is we have a really wide range of local alumni in the area as well. And so we have a lot of outside involvement and support from prior graduates, whether that's mentorship or, professional mentorship and things like that. So it sounds cheesy, but it is so much bigger than ourselves, and the network that students have created and the support, and even, you know, being able to invite people to come in and talk and speak with people that have connections and be able to share their story is really, really cool.
So how would new students get involved in Greek life on our campus and become a part of this community?
That's a good question. There's a lot of different ways and it looks different for everyone, especially depending on what type of chapter you're looking to join or information you're looking to gather. Like I said, we have 15 chapters, lots of different options. We have a very strong culturally based fraternity or fraternal organization community. We have a couple co-ed organizations, a couple engineering focused organizations. There's a wide range, but they all do recruitment and intake differently. So you might see our College Panhellenic Council, which we have 3 chapters, do a very kind of structured recruitment, a couple weeks in September that's really organized and has a very specific schedule of when people go to things. And then there are some organizations that just kind of do general open recruitment and intake, or you may have to submit kind of a membership intake application or go to some informational sessions. And so where I usually send people to is Victor's link. I'm sure it's been mentioned on here before, but it's basically like Facebook for student orgs. That's where all of the organization events will be. You'll be able to know who to contact, like who the president or recruitment officer is, see what events what events are going on. And you can actually toggle it on and look specifically on Victor's link for fraternities and sororities. So it's really easy to go in there and find stuff. Also, our website, we have a general information form. So if you're kind of like, I just want to learn more and maybe I'm not sure which chapter is going to be kind of the experience I'm looking for, we have a general form that you can fill out and I can get connected with you. I also have a really great student that works in my office named Sarah, who's a member of the community, and a couple other students in our office that are members that, be happy to connect with, because sometimes, they don't want to talk to someone that's a professional. They want to talk to a fellow student. And so a lot of it is just going to like an informational session and kind of meeting some people and doing research in that. But it's pretty easy to get your foot in the door and kind of be welcomed into that.
So I know that you were a fellow Greek life member while you were in college. So why did you join Greek life?
Love that question. I don't think I even knew at the time, right? So I went to University of Montana, which was thousands of miles away from my family. I'm originally from Alaska, so not close at all. And I had met, just like you all probably see all the time and have friends, I met a really close friend of mine in my orientation group that was a similar major to me, and she wasn't my roommate or anything, but we just kind of clicked. And we had both been involved similarly to you two, we were both political science majors. So there was the political science association we belonged to. And we're kind of just like, I found myself I was in a residence hall. So I was sitting in my residence hall kind of just doing nothing. And I was like, I need to be doing more than this. Like, I would love to go and do something. And so my friend Katrina, who had been going through that, was like, let's go sign up for sorority recruitment. I was like, okay. I had no idea what it is. None of my family that I knew of at the time was involved in a fraternity or sorority. And so I went into like the little info session. I was like, okay, well, I'll sign up. And if I don't end up liking it, it's fine. I have other friends. But I went through, and it was honestly, now 7 years as a professional fraternity and sorority advisor, it's one of the best decisions I ever made. I really just enjoyed the personal development that it gave me. Some of my biggest mentors, I have been able to connect with through my fraternity and sorority experience, and being able to have the leadership development and just like the lifelong friendship. And I think it really helped me navigate and solidify kind of what my personal values were. I feel like we're not asked that all the time. You kind of get asked that maybe later on in life, but I don't even know if I went in really understanding like my own personal values and what I, cared about. And I had been involved in the community, but not nearly in the way that Greek life helped me kind of get involved and understand how my personal impact could affect the community. And so overall, it's just, I went to a sorority sister's wedding back in March, and just like being able to still have that connection. And, just, I think it really helped me make the most out of my college experience. And honestly, I was so close to going home because I was so homesick and I missed my family. And I was, a lot of students that come to campus really want to find that sense of belonging and support. And, as cheesy and cliche as it sounds, like I did find a family away from home that was really supportive and just, like I said, really just made my college experience really valuable for me.
I couldn't agree more, because I definitely met one of my best friends in my orientation group, and I definitely have seen friendships form in orientation groups, and that's kind of how I decided to do formal recruitment too. I'm like, okay, she's like, let's do it. I'm like, okay, let's go along with it and see how it goes. And it definitely was just giving me that reason to stay on campus and get involved, which is what I wanted so badly. And now it's done so many more things for me, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, and one thing too that I really enjoyed is my friend and I didn't actually end up joining the same sorority. We were in different chapters, and we still had great experiences. We were still friends, and that's one thing that I really appreciated about Dearborn's community is it is very tight knit. We, especially knowing, right, that you're like, I can go throughout the whole day and know 18 different people that I've crossed paths with on campus, which whether or not it's in political science association or your sorority or a fraternity, it's a lot more tight knit.
Yeah, I definitely was also like the person that like never pictured myself as a member of Greek life. And then when I was reached out to, I was like, yeah, why not? Let's give it a shot. And I've definitely found my forever family. And I could not be happier with like the decision that I made. So I think that's why a lot of people on our campus join Greek life too, is because we're the commuter campus. It's nice to have a really close group of people that you can spend more time on campus with. So why do students typically join Greek life that you've seen from your position?
Yeah, so it just depends on kind of what experience people are looking for. Definitely from a professional standpoint and understanding where students are when they're coming into college, a lot of times that sense of belonging and wanting to really form kind of like a close friend unit is definitely there. Understanding, right, that fraternities and sororities are values-based organizations, and so a lot of times when people go through the recruitment or intake process, they learn about, this is what the organization cares about, and you kind of do some self-discovery on that. And so a lot of them join too because they want to do more. They want to be a part of something more, whether that's that it will help get them, acclimated to campus a little bit better, more involved in their local or national community. And then that self-development too, I think is a really big part of it. And sometimes you don't even realize it until, you're in for a little bit. But I know, I learned a lot of professional skills, whether it was managing a budget or understanding how to have a conversation with someone that has different opinions than I do, or, you know, things like that. I think it's a really great way to transition from kind of this home life of like being in high school, and now everything's kind of your own personal decision and you have to navigate that on your own, and really those skills to self-develop I think is really important. But again, right, like you want to be able to join people that you connect with and feel supported, and so I think that tight-knit family support friendship piece is definitely one of the things people look for when they're going to join. And again, the professional and personal development and values and, you know, career skills, things like that are definitely additional pluses as well.
So what benefits or things do students get out of joining Greek Life? You probably touched on this, but like a little bit more. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, we could probably talk, it's every person that's in an organization will probably have a similar or different answer, right? I think it depends on everyone's personal experience. But thinking too of, I really know I appreciated the academic accountability that I got from joining an organization, understanding that I, you know, had the support academically of like, hey, like, we know that we have, you know, grade point standards that we want everyone, you're here for school first, and we know that, and so we want to be able to do that. Definitely the support system. I didn't realize until I left college how big the networking opportunities were, and understanding even if someone wasn't a member of my organization, there's kind of that common shared experience of like, we belong to this thing that was bigger than ourselves, you know. And now I can go to the grocery store and you know, I saw someone with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated letters on, and I was like, oh, you know, you kind of get this like this connected feeling. Or, you know, I met someone that was in the same sorority that I was in at the airport once, and we instantly had this connection that was just like this indescribable feeling. And you start to realize that it really is bigger than yourself. I've got a lot of really great career advice from people that I've interacted with throughout, you know, sorority alumni associations and things of that nature. But definitely, like, again, that connection to campus, that lifelong friendship. I had previously lived in Cleveland and connected with a woman who was my grandmother's age, who had been a member of my organization, and I got to go and have lunch with her, and just to be able to sit there and hear about her experience and how it's changed her life was really impactful for me. And then also understanding, really getting connected to the community is I think more than people think that it is, especially here, right, in the Dearborn Metro Detroit community. A lot of our organizations are involved or have their own kind of local or national philanthropy or community service partner. And so really going out, and I think you know, understanding what servant leadership is and being able to develop those skills, I think really helps make us go out into the workforce, understanding the world around us a little bit better, and understanding the impact that we have collectively and as individuals to make you know, the world a better place. And so being able to have all facets of that is a really great benefit for it.
Yeah, I definitely got a ton of benefits out of it so far. I've had so many great leadership opportunities. I've been chairwoman positions for committees in my sorority. I'm also on the executive board now. We've been able to go to our Phi Mu Officer Academy, which is really cool. And like you said, you ran into somebody at the airport. I was wearing my letters in the bathroom in the airport, and some older lady came up to me and goes, "Oh my gosh, I was in that sorority when I was younger." And just like knowing that you have other people like that who will come up with you and just treat you like they're your sister, because technically they are. It's pretty amazing.
So, are there any events or organization fairs planned for Greek Life coming up this fall? Obviously, virtually.
Yeah, so there will be a lot of different opportunities. A lot of the dates are still being finalized. They should be finalized by early next week. So definitely look at the website, Victor's link, all that kind of stuff. But our organizations, our fraternity sorority organizations, will be part of the virtual Go Blue Orientation Day, you know, kind of virtual organization fair for incoming students. And then there will be, so we have these Student Affairs has come up with some really great ideas for kind of the first 6 weeks of classes, getting people welcomed back to campus, even though it's mainly online. So there's going to be a lot of activities and opportunities for people to meet our fraternities and sororities and get involved with them as well. We will, outside of kind of the general organization fairs, have 2 Meet the Greek events. which basically will have, a representative from each of the 15 chapters there. There's probably going to be one, I think, the second week of school and the last week of September. So kind of sandwiching it in. We don't want to, there's going to be so many different things. The one thing I will remind people too is it can be really overwhelming the first couple of weeks, and there's so much to do. And so we'll make sure there's lots of opportunities for people to fit other stuff in as well. But you'll definitely see a lot of stuff on the calendar in September and October, just to, let people ask questions and meet folks. And then, all of our different chapters do recruitment and intake differently. So things will continue on throughout the semester as well.
We might have touched on this already, but it's never bad to hear it again. So if I had questions or interested in getting involved, who should I contact specifically?
There's lots of options. I'm always a phone call or an email away. Happy to answer any questions people may have. If people don't want to talk to us directly, we do have a interested in fraternity and sorority life kind of Google form on our website. And there's a spot in there for people to ask any questions they may have. And so that's an option. Again, all of our fraternities and sororities have pages on Victor's Link. And they have, kind of like I'm interested in joining buttons you can click on, and emails of folks that are in leadership positions for that. And then also just attending any of the events that we have that are kind of our open house type events, whether that's the organizational fairs, the Meet the Greek events, things like that. And then so there's lots of ways to get connected. Any of the people in the fraternity and sorority community are, really good to contact as well. A lot of people either have connections or like you all are orientation leaders. And I think it's great that you mentioned that, when you're with your students, because I think it lets students know that you are so involved and that you're able to answer the questions as well.
Also, you can probably find almost any Greek life chapter on like social media. So if you don't feel comfortable reaching out like formally, you can send them DMs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They usually have them all.
So what is one big piece of advice you would give to any new UM-Dearborn student?
That's a tough question. Kind of thinking back about what I just recently said is, especially now with that everything's online and it's a little bit different of an experience than people were expecting, it can be really overwhelming. So you don't have to feel like you have to try and do everything all at once. I think it's right, like it's especially now that we're going to be online, a lot of people are going to be wanting some of those experiences. So don't feel like you have to try everything at once. And also one piece of advice is, don't feel like you have to stick with everything. We have a lot of different opportunities on campus. We have over 150 different student organizations. And so, the first couple of weeks of school is your time to kind of really sit back and like see what interests you. And so definitely just, making sure you're taking time for yourself too. I know, I haven't been taking classes online, but I've been on a computer all day like a lot of you have, and it has been overwhelming in itself. So I can't even imagine having this have to be, your kind of first experience in college and everything's online. And then, one thing too is just to ask questions. I think kind of having those help-seeking behaviors is really helpful because there's so many people on campus and here to help and answer questions and be supportive. And so, I know it can be really overwhelming, and especially when you don't know who to ask, but everyone is very open to answering questions and helping folks, even if it's, even me, even though I have, fraternity and sorority life and student activities side of things, I usually know quite a few people on campus. So if you have a question that you need answered and you feel comfortable asking me, I can definitely get you connected. And I think that's how most people on campus are too.
Yeah, that's something I've given at I think every orientation so far this summer to every student I've talked to is like to get involved, but definitely know your limit and don't push yourself. Like self-care is so important, especially in college. Life gets harder, you're an adult for real. But I think getting involved is definitely the best decision I ever made. And I push it a lot because it's such a good thing for you.
And just remember, you know yourself best. So when it comes to trying to balance and juggle things, listen to you, because nobody else can tell you that, oh, you can handle it, because they don't know you. You do. It's definitely important to remember that. And then lastly, is there any fun facts you'd like to share about yourself? Me and Kelly can also join in afterwards, but go ahead.
Ooh, fun facts. That's hard. I already pulled the Alaska card. That's usually like the surprising thing. People are like, oh my gosh, you're like the first person I've ever met from Alaska. I play and coach ice hockey. That usually is like a good fun fact as well. I can speak German, although I'm out of practice. I'm a little out of practice. I also have a dog that I'm obsessed with. So everyone on my social media, all it is pictures of my dog. He's a Boykin Spaniel. He's very cute. What else? I'm trying to think. I used to have more exciting stuff. I don't know. I was initiated into my sorority way back in 2008. So it's weird being this far out and kind of seeing how that experience has changed, but it's really cool. I really enjoy just like being a part of this, right? Like, I don't think anyone grows up and is like, I want to be a Greek life advisor. Like, I had no idea this even existed until I was in college. And so very thankful for my experience and how it led me to here.
I love the fun fact about the dog. My dog likes to make an appearance on every single orientation Zoom call we have. She's kind of famous for it now, and I'd like to think she's our mascot. But a fun fact about myself is my favorite animal is a stingray, which is a little unconventional. And I'm also very clumsy, and over my 21 short years of life, I've broken 6 different bones. So that's fun. Kelly, any interesting things about you you'd like to share?
Yeah, so this is actually my favorite one, because people don't believe it, and Alexis didn't believe it. But I've actually broken both of my femurs. That's a fun one. People always think I'm lying. I was initiated virtually for the first time ever. So that was fun. That was a fun little like thing to figure out. Other than that, I don't know. Those are kind of my only like things. It's usually the broken femurs that gets everyone.
Did they break at the same time, like in the same
No.
instant?
So this is the good part is they broke them for me. So my bones were just like rotated incorrectly in my body. So I had a doctor break them for me. So I didn't like get in a really bad car accident. Thank goodness. But yeah.
So just as we close off, this is just a little contact information for anyone who's interested. This is Caitlin's email address, and this is just the general page to the sorority and fraternity life. There's multiple different buttons on there if you're interested in joining or just you want to get some more information. There's a form you can fill out. And then as always, don't forget you can always check the Victor's link as well. If you're super excited and love these podcasts as much as we love doing them, you can visit our website to view recordings of our previous episodes. This one is being recorded and will be posted shortly after. And you can also see the lineup for future episodes as well.